Europe has long symbolized stability, cultural richness, and economic prosperity. However, a deeper examination reveals that numerous countries are grappling with systemic crises. Challenges like homelessness, soaring living costs, migration pressures, and political instability have created a ripple effect, threatening social cohesion and economic growth. This in-depth analysis explores 10 European nations facing such predicaments, supported by legal data and expert analysis. Each case is a compelling testament to the multifaceted challenges Europe faces today. Stick around until the end for a comprehensive breakdown of this phenomenon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Now, let's dive in. 1. France. The unrelenting strain on social systems. France's social framework, renowned for its robust welfare system, is under tremendous strain. A staggering 330,000 individuals were identified as homeless in 2022, a figure that has ballooned by 50% over the past decade. These numbers include over 84,000 children and 90,000 foreign nationals, illustrating the intersections of economic instability and immigration challenges. The root causes of this crisis are manifold. In cities like Paris, Lyon, and Marseille, rental prices have risen sharply, averaging €40 per square meter in Paris, making it the most expensive rental market in Europe after London. Compounded by unemployment rates exceeding 7.1% nationally, many families find themselves unable to keep up with soaring costs. Immigration exacerbates these issues. France processes over 137,000 asylum applications annually, ranking it among the highest in Europe. Many migrants, unable to secure stable housing or jobs, are relegated to informal settlements or emergency shelters. Civil unrest, including protests against pension reforms and wage stagnation, underscores the mounting discontent. Notably, a 2023 Ipsos survey found that 57% of French citizens believe the country is on the wrong track, reflecting growing anxiety. 2. United Kingdom. Housing crises amid post-Brexit uncertainty. The United Kingdom faces a complex blend of housing shortages, post-Brexit immigration changes, and economic disparities. Approximately 271,000 individuals, including 126,000 children, are either homeless or in temporary housing, according to the charity shelter. The availability of affordable housing has been further strained, with the average house price now exceeding £525,000 in London and £250,000 nationwide. Austerity measures implemented since 2010 have significantly reduced public spending on social housing. Between 2010 and 2023, the UK lost over 165,000 council homes, replaced by expensive private rentals. Additionally, 1.2 million people are on social housing waiting lists, revealing the immense backlog in affordable housing supply. Brexit has introduced new challenges, particularly in sectors like healthcare and hospitality that relied heavily on EU workers. The stricter immigration policies resulted in a workforce deficit, while the backlog of 175,000 asylum claims overwhelmed the Home Office, leaving thousands of individuals in precarious living conditions. These pressures have also increased political polarization, with far-right groups gaining traction. 3. Germany. A refugee crisis meets an expensive housing market. Germany, as the economic engine of Europe, has taken on the lion's share of responsibility for asylum seekers. With 244,000 asylum applications processed in 2023, Germany remains the top destination for migrants. However, this influx has created immense pressures on infrastructure and housing. Berlin, Munich, and Frankfurt have become unaffordable for many. Rental costs in these cities have risen by 7% annually, with average rents for a one-bedroom apartment in Berlin reaching €1,200 per month. A shortage of affordable housing units persists despite government plans to construct 400,000 new units annually, only half of which are realized. Social tensions have escalated, as right-wing parties like the AfD, Alternative für Deutschland, exploit these crises to further anti-immigration rhetoric. Yet, progressive organizations like Pro-Asylum emphasize the economic benefits of integrating migrants into the labor force, highlighting the need for a balanced narrative. 4. Italy, a humanitarian and economic crossroads. Italy's geographical location makes it a first point of entry for migrants crossing the Mediterranean. In 2023, the country recorded 140,000 migrant arrivals, overwhelming reception centers that often operate at over 150% capacity. The island of Lampedusa epitomizes the crisis, hosting thousands more migrants than its infrastructure can sustain. Economic instability compounds the issue. With public debt exceeding 144% of GDP, Italy struggles to allocate funds for adequate social services. Youth unemployment, which hovers around 22%, forces many young Italians to migrate to Northern Europe, creating a demographic vacuum in rural areas. Political instability exacerbates these problems. Italy has seen 7 different prime ministers in 12 years, resulting in erratic immigration and housing policies. While some leaders advocate for stricter border controls, others push for inclusive integration measures, leaving the public divided. 5. Greece, the unyielding impact of austerity. Greece remains one of the hardest-hit European nations from the 2008 financial crisis. Its GDP contracted by over 25%, and austerity measures drastically cut public services, including housing subsidies. As a result, homelessness has surged by 70% in the past decade. Greece also bears the brunt of Europe's refugee crisis, with over 50,000 asylum seekers residing in overcrowded camps as of 2023. The Moria camp, once designed for 3,000 people, housed over 20,000 individuals at its peak, highlighting the scale of the crisis. Despite receiving €2 billion in EU funds for refugee management, bureaucratic inefficiencies and corruption allegations have prevented meaningful improvements. Greek citizens, burdened by high taxes and low wages, have become increasingly frustrated with the government's handling of these crises. 6. Spain, high unemployment and immigration pressures. Spain faces a unique mix of challenges, from an ongoing unemployment crisis to immigration-related strain. Youth unemployment remains alarmingly high at 27%, forcing many young Spaniards to delay homeownership or even leave the country. Rising housing costs add to the problem. Between 2010 and 2023, rental prices in cities like Barcelona and Madrid increased by over 40%. The government implemented rent caps in 2023, but critics argue that these measures do little to address long-term supply shortages. Spain also serves as a key entry point for migrants crossing from North Africa. Over 20,000 migrants arrived via sea routes in 2023, with many ending up in temporary shelters or informal settlements. The situation has sparked heated political debates, with right-wing parties advocating stricter border controls. 7. Portugal. Gentrification and displacement. Portugal's housing crisis stems largely from its booming tourism sector. Lisbon has seen property prices increase by 75% between 2016 and 2023, driven by foreign investment and platforms like Airbnb. Local residents are increasingly pushed out, with homelessness rising by 25% in 5 years. The Golden Visa program, designed to attract wealthy investors, has drawn criticism for exacerbating inequality. Critics argue that while foreign investors benefit, local citizens face higher living costs and reduced access to affordable housing. 8. Ireland. Economic growth at a social cost. Ireland's economic boom, fueled by tech giants and foreign investments, contrasts sharply with its housing crisis. Over 12,000 individuals, including 3,000 children, live in emergency accommodation, marking a record high. Rapid urbanization in cities like Dublin has led to skyrocketing rents, with average monthly costs exceeding €2,000. This has forced many families into homelessness or emigration. Despite government efforts to increase housing supply, progress remains slow. 9. Sweden. Challenges in integration. Sweden's progressive stance on immigration has made it a popular destination for asylum seekers, with over 34,000 arrivals in 2023. However, integration challenges persist. Many migrants face barriers to employment, leading to high levels of dependency on welfare programs. In Stockholm, housing shortages have led to waiting lists exceeding 10 years for public housing. This scarcity has created tensions among citizens, with growing concerns over resource allocation. 10. Romania. A silent crisis. Romania's challenges lie in systemic emigration and internal inequality. Over 3.5 million Romanians have left the country since 2007, depleting the workforce and weakening rural communities. The Roma population, comprising around 10% of the country, faces systemic discrimination and poverty, with over 80% living below the poverty line. Limited government initiatives have done little to address these inequalities, leaving marginalized groups increasingly vulnerable. Europe's stability depends on addressing these interconnected crises. From housing shortages to migration challenges, the solutions require coordinated efforts, innovative policies, and substantial investments. This examination underscores the urgency for proactive measures to prevent further societal disintegration. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content like this. What's your experience with any of these countries? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video on Expedition Explorers.